Make sure that you are on page 68 of your notebook. Take a second to draw and answer the questions. For 1 through 3, you're going to figure out what the question mark is. For number 4, you need to solve for x and then find the measure of xz, arc xz. Find the measure of arc xz. At this time, pause the video so that you can draw and work on these problems. Okay, now that everyone's had a chance to do the problems, let's see how we did. So for number 1, I know I'm solving for this arc xy here. I'm given an angle, so if I extend those lines of that angle, that gives me this arc yz. So yz would be 2 times that angle, which is 78. Now from here you should notice that there is a semicircle, which is this whole half here. Well, technically it's both halves, but here's the half that I need. The whole half is 180. 180 minus that 78 should have given you 102 for your question mark. Number 2, I want to solve for this arc, or this angle, excuse me. In order to find this angle, I need to know this arc. Again, you should have noticed the semicircle. So this half is 180. It's obviously not drawn to scale, but you're going to use the information that you have. So 180 minus 110 is 70. And then to find the angle, we're going to divide by 2, which means that angle is 35. Number 3 is very similar to number 1. I know this angle down here is 46, so if I extend those lines a little bit, I can see what arc that creates. That would be arc FG. So 46 times 2, because remember we're doubling, FG is 92. Again, you should see a semicircle. 180 minus that 92 is 88, and that gives you, 88, that gives you arc EF, which then matches to the angle that you need. If you divide by 2, that angle should have been 44. For the last one, these are similar to our homework problems last week. Last week. I want to solve for arc XZ, which is this arc here, but I can't do that until I know what X is. So I'm given these outside pieces for a reason. I'm also given the angle for a reason. Remember that the arc is half of the angle. So if I'm going from arc to angle, I would divide by 2. If I'm going from angle to arc, I multiply by 2. That gives me 10x minus 20. At this point, I know every single piece of that circle. We also know that circles equal 100, or 360 degrees. So 12x plus 5 plus 10x minus 20 plus 13x minus 10 equals 360. We need to combine like terms. So 12, 10, and 13 gives you 35x, and then you have 5, negative 20, and negative 10, which gives you negative 25, and that equals 360. Add 25 to both sides. And divide by 35, you end up with x equals 11. But the question is asking for xz, so I'm going to plug it back in to xz. 13 times 11 minus that 10 is 133. All right, let's move on to our notes. Notes are on page 69. Don't forget today's date. And the title of today's notes is Quadrilaterals. Inscribed in circles. So let's draw a circle. What is a quadrilateral? I'm hoping someone said that it's a figure with 4 sides. Okay, so a quadrilateral has 4 sides. We've seen parallelograms. We can look at a trapezoid. There are a lot of different ones. So a quadrilateral has 4 sides. If it's inscribed in a circle, that just means it's inside the circle. Okay, so I have the center of my circle, and then I have a quadrilateral that's in the circle. There is important information that you need to know for this. So, 4 quadrilaterals inscribed in a circle, the opposite angles and I'm going to put of the quadrilateral, are supplementary. What does supplementary mean? They equal 180 degrees. So in this case, which are my pairs of opposite angles? So which angles are opposite? Hopefully you said angle Z and angle X are opposite of each other. We've talked about opposite before. So angle Z and angle X are opposite, which means those 2 angles are supplementary. And angle Y and W are also opposite, which means those 2 are supplementary. All right, let's try an example. We are going to find the measure of angle LDJ. We have 59x minus 2 and 31x plus 2. So I'll give you a second to draw that. before we can find angle LDJ, which is this angle here in bold, we need to solve for x. Now K and D are opposite angles, so when we add those two together, they will be supplementary. So 59x minus 2 plus 31x plus 2 equals 180. Let's combine like terms. So the 59x and the 31x gives us 90x. And then the negative 2 and positive 2 are going to cancel out. So 90x equals 180, which means x equals 2. Last step is to plug 2 into LDJ. So LDJ is 31 times 2 plus 2, which is 64 degrees. All right, let me give you one similar to that to try. And here you're going to find the measure of angle FCH. You have 14x and 12x minus 2. So take a second, either by yourself or with your group, to solve for angle FCH. Pause the video at this time so that you can do that. Now that we've all had a chance to work, here is what you should have gotten. So C and G, well, first of all, let me go back and say FCH is going to be this angle here that we will eventually solve for. So this one up here, FCH. C and G are supplementary, so 14x plus 12x minus 2 equals 180. If I combine like terms, I get 26x minus 2 equals 180. Add 2 to both sides. And divide by 26. You end up with, x equals 7. But again, that's not what you're solving for. You want to actually know the angle. So angle FCH is 14 times 7, which gives us 98 degrees. All right, let's look at one more type of problem. This is an 18x plus 1. And we are ultimately going to find the measure of angle YTS, and I want to find the measure of angle SRY. So YTS is this angle here. SRY is this one down here. Those are the two angles I want to find. So I'll give you a second to finish drawing. All right, you probably have noticed that unlike the other two problems, I don't have this opposite angle and I can't just set those two equal to 180 degrees. But you probably noticed that I have some information about two of these arcs. So let's see what arc this angle here creates. So if I extend that line out, you should notice that that angle creates arc YRS. So if I want to know what that arc is, remember if we're going from angle to arc, we are going to multiply by 2. Okay, if we multiply by 2, we end up with 36x plus 2. That's for this arc here. I know now every single piece of that circle. I can solve for x. Okay, so 37x plus 4 plus 16x minus 2 plus 36x plus 2 equals 360. Once I solve for x, I can go back and plug it in to find those angles. So if we combine like terms, we end up with 89x plus 4 equals 360. If you subtract 4 from both sides, you get 89x equals 356. And when you divide by 89, you get x equals 4. Okay, so that gives us x. Now, angle YTS is going to be basic to solve. We're just going to plug that back in. So YTS is that 18 times x plus 1. So 18 times 4 plus 1 gives me 73. Now, how am I going to find angle SRY? How am I going to find this angle here? What do I know about this angle and the one I just found? You should know that they are supplementary. So if both of these equal 180 together, and this one here is 73, 180 minus that 73 gives you 107 for angle SRY.